Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm taking the dis out of disability in a whole new way. My name is Mr. Stephen, and you're watching Keeping Up with Mr. Stephen. I am giving you a crash course on what's PC 2018. One of the biggest and most common reasons that discussions around disability are not happening is that people don't know how to talk about it in a way that is PC or politically correct. People literally don't have the vocabulary to do this. Those who haven't been exposed to disability are often afraid that the words that they do know are not the right words, and that they will therefore offend other people. One of the problems that I see over and over is actually with the people who are essentially woke when it comes to disability. In other words, people who are already educated and aware. They can be so unforgiving when it comes to people who have not had the same level of exposure and education, and I just think it's so counterproductive to make anybody feel bad if all they're trying to do is learn and support. I for sure have seen people be shamed for using terms like mentally retarded or handicapped because somebody somewhere decided one day that it's not okay to use those terms. But newsflash, people, those used to be the correct and PC terms. Literally, legal documents, organizations, and facilities for people with disabilities used to have mentally retarded or handicapped in their titles. So using either of those terms is essentially like calling an African American a colored person. It's not exactly offensive or derogatory, but it's definitely not current. So for someone who is not immersed in this culture, how the heck would they know? And it's not just about the language either. People who don't know much about disability don't feel comfortable to talk about it in front of strangers, friends, or even family members. And that's just evidence that we aren't doing a good enough job as a society of giving people knowledge. I want you to feel comfortable speaking on the topic so that you are confident, motivated, and empowered to advocate for this group. First things first. Everybody in the disability culture right now is obsessed with person-first language, so you should probably start practicing, like today. Basically, this just means that you are acknowledging the person as a person first, a human being, someone who is worthy of respect and love. So to do that using language, you simply put the person before you put any labels. For example, I am an advocate and I work with people. What kind of people, you ask? Well, people with disabilities. Notice I did not say that I work with disabled people, because that puts the label before the person, which can cause people to focus more on the disability, and it can create this pity party that does not need to happen. So obviously what used to be referred to as mentally retarded is now referred to as intellectual disability, and instead of using terms like handicapped, we say people with disabilities. If you want to be a little bit more specific, you could say the boy with autism, the girl with Down syndrome, the person who... You get the picture. Ability-focused language. This is also important now more than ever. At this point, we have talked a lot about the end goal. For people with disabilities to be seen, heard, and respected in the communities that we live in. We want to change the way that people perceive disability. To do this, we can use ability-focused language to focus on, you guessed it, basically, we're turning the cannots into cans, and we're shifting the focus from disability to ability and potential. For example, someone might say, Erick can't complete this task. But instead of using the word can't, which highlights the disability, it can be framed in a way that highlights what Erick can do. For example, Erick can complete this task, but requires support and help from a supervisor. Another way to do this is by acknowledging challenges and suggesting creative ways to help. For example, instead of saying Sam cannot send emails because he can't read or write, which makes him sound completely incompetent, by the way, you might say, Sam is awesome at speaking, but he's not great at reading and writing. Let's try setting up the speech-to-text feature on his phone so that he can just write emails using his voice. This is not about pretending that the person does not have a disability or acting like everything is rainbows and lollipops. There are challenges and limitations and struggles and problems that come along with having a disability. But as long as we focus on that, we will miss out on the talent, potential, and the blessing that every person has to offer the world. If you really think about it, we all have a disability. It's just about finding our strengths and figuring out how to use those strengths to create happiness and success. At the end of the day, what's politically correct now will change. The thing about PC is that you kind of have to stay current. So I think the best tip that I can give you is if you don't know what to say, don't be afraid to ask. It can be as simple as, but what's the correct term to use right now? Or how should I say this? Was that offensive? And if there's anyone who can't respect you for being honest, respectful, and willing to learn, then they're the ones who really need help. Also, now that you know more, if you do choose to educate others, you have to be patient. You cannot hate on other people for not knowing what you already know. We're all in this together. If you have questions or comments related to intellectual or developmental disabilities, or if you just want to keep on keeping up, then you can find me online at Facebook/Mr. Stephan Official. You can like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube by searching Keeping Up with Mr. Stephan, or you can visit my website at mrstephanofficial.weebly.com for even more ways to keep up. If you like the music featured in this episode, that's great. It's me. You can visit my music site for links to all of my social media under my stage name Evan Torres at evantorres.weebly.com. Look out for my first ever full-length album, Till the Wheels Fall Off, in spring 2019.